The first ever 0-0 draw between England and Scotland at Wembley. The Scots were the better team. The Scots, in my opinion, deserve the victory tonight. 11 shots to England's 8. They outclassed England. They outworked them. They outthought them. And they didn't let the occasion get to them. The Scots were magnificent tonight. Pound for pound, they were magnificent. There is no doubt about it. And they were written off by everybody in the build-up to the game. Yes, player for player, not as good. But they worked better as a unit. There was more cohesion. They stuck to their manager's plan. England were lethargic. They were shambolic and they were embarrassing. And they were outclassed at Wembley at a major tournament. The first ever time to draw 0-0 at home to Scotland. And this England team needs to walk off that field and hang their head in shame. And of course, the Scots can go home and be very, very proud of that performance. They give themselves an opportunity now. One last game. It's basically knockout football for them now when they go up against Croatia. England have put themselves in a difficult position where they have to play a stronger team now against the Czech Republic. And it is very typical of England to do this to themselves. Only 3 times in England's history have they won back-to-back opening group games at a major tournament. They've never done it 2 tournaments on the bounce. Had a great opportunity tonight to do that, secure a place in the last 16. And this is why, although I love my country as a football, like from a footballing point of view, I want us to win. I'll always get giddy. If we win our next game, I'll be excited. Of course I will. I'm a fan first as ever. But this is why in my true heart of hearts, I can never allow myself to truly get carried away because these performances just happen too often. And there were so many mistakes tonight. The starting lineup was wrong by Gareth Southgate. He didn't need the sitting players, the defensive shape and setup that he went with tonight in midfield especially, because Scotland weren't going to have as much of the ball. They weren't going to be as progressive in possession as your Croatia side are. Jack Grealish not starting was an absolute abomination. Leaving Mason Mount, leaving Raheem Sterling, leaving Harry Kane, leaving Phillips, leaving Rice, leaving Foden, all of them had such poor first halves. And not so much technically. Their passing wasn't bad. It wasn't quick enough. There wasn't enough movement. It was too lethargic and too static from England. Start of the second half, you saw some really good movement. You thought, okay, let's grow from this. It absolutely dissipated. And then when it comes to the final third, nobody was good enough tonight. I'm not singling out any one individual player, but the lineup was wrong. The substitutions came at the wrong time. Look at Belgium last night. Look at Roberto Mancini last night. Saw it wasn't working. Brings on KDB at halftime to make the changes. I don't want our manager to panic, but it isn't panicking. It was absolutely terrible. Southgate out is trending, and it's absolutely right to be trending right now. It truly is. Scotland deserved the win. They were petrified. Listen, Scotland deserved more than just a draw tonight. They were absolutely brilliant to a man. Harry Kane got pocketed by Scott McTominay playing as a centre-back. Scotland have a central midfielder playing as centre-back. They have a Billy Gilmour making his debut appearance, as in debut start, for Scotland and at a major tournament. Didn't lay a glove. Opening 15 minutes, I think he ran himself into the ground a bit. He had to wait for his second win, but it was excellent. Scotland were great. There is no doubt about it. You're absolutely spot on. Gareth Southgate. Listen, I understand the drawing of the comparisons. I truly, truly do. Artem here says, I'm a neutral, but England were bad. Nobody looked good. Maybe a little biased, but I thought man of the match was 20-year-old Billy Gilmour, his first international start. I think Billy Gilmour grew into the game. He's a shout for man of the match. I think John McGinn was great in the middle. Like, Scotland won the midfield battle. And it's because we didn't have players who was technically gifted in terms of their passing. Rice and Phillips are good at what they do, but we needed Jude Bellingham in the middle. We needed some technical brilliance in the centre, and it wasn't there. And we were overrun and overworked. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And a few people are saying Mason Mount was excellent. No England player was excellent tonight. Mason Mount, every cross he put into the box didn't beat the first man. No player was excellent tonight. And I know they all did good things at moments. Reece James cleared the ball off the line. Brilliant. There was a header from Mings that was going to land on Dyke's head. That was great. Everyone did little moments. But in terms of an overall collective performance, for Reece James, I'd say Reece James was probably our best player. I thought Mason Mount was all right, maybe. but no one else. And just the decision making as well. Bringing on Rashford instead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I love Rashford, but you bring him on in a wide position. Maybe take Mount off, move Grealish centrally, Rashford on the left, bring Sancho on that right-hand side. We made 2 subs. We've got 5 available. Sancho on the right, Rashford on the left, Grealish through the middle, Calvert-Lewin at the top. Go for it. People are more forgiving, Gareth, if you try to win it. And he didn't. It was conservative and weak. Conservative and weak tonight. No doubt about that whatsoever. It was so poor. It truly was. Jerome here says, sideways passes, not a threat at all. Harry non-existent. And Southgate not starting Grealish, just poor judgment. It's definitely not coming home. Luke says, we must not forget. That cheered me up. That cheered me up. We must not forget it's raining. We must not forget it's raining. I did miss a super chat that came through because this damn thing skips. And when it skips, you can't go back and see all of your comments. I'm going to have to go find it. I found it here. It's from Edward, who said, too many sideward passes from tonight. Can't beat the press. Gilmore showed his levels. West Ham can keep Rice. He's at his level. But it wasn't about Rice not being able to do it, because that isn't Rice's job. Rice is a DM. What we needed was a midfielder who is progressive in his passing. Jude Bellingham is one of the only guys we've got. Should have come onto the field of play. No doubt about that in my mind. We are going to start bringing the panel on to have their say one by one here very, very soon for you all. Stay with the Football Terrace, but make sure you're smashing the like button. Right now, hit that like button. Hit the share button. Subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter, please retweet for us right now. Ginger Fury here says, what is Southgate thinking when he picks these teams? Poor, just poor. And what does Sancho have to do to get a start? But you know what's interesting? In the build-up to the squad being announced, there was a lot of talk about Sancho or Grealish missing out. I truly believe, truly believe, if it was a 23-man squad, one of Sancho or Grealish would have missed out. Southgate don't fancy him. I don't think he truly fancies him. Why are we not starting Grealish? It's mad. Why are we not bringing Jadon Sancho on? Creative spark was needed. Sterling ain't a creator. And he left him on for 90 minutes. It's not, you know what it is? It's not even about having a go at people tonight. Mason Mount, for me, was okay. Final ball, was it brilliant? Not from set pieces, especially. You know, one key pass from our number 10 isn't good enough in a game like this. Really isn't. But overall, okay. Sterling, average. You know, Foden was average. Changes should have come sooner. And this isn't about, I'm going to defend my player because he's at my club. It isn't about that. I would never have brought Rashford on for Kane and put him in that centre forward role. We weren't getting him behind. If you're not, if a team with a high line, bring him on. They're not. We needed Dominic Calvert-Lewin at that point. So wrong tonight. So wrong in so many ways from Gareth Southgate. It really is. I'm going to do some more of your super chats here. Tierney sent Reece James for some Coca-Cola and pie. I thought Reece James had, look, Tierney and Robertson played very, very well in the roles they had. I thought Reece James was very good tonight, to be fair. Unlucky with a shot. Great clearance off the line. Good. I mean, good defensively. England weren't bad defensively. I didn't think we were all over the place anyway. Des here says, put Mason Mount central beside Rice. Start Grealish in attacking midfield and start Sancho on the right. I mean, that's another option. You could have just put Mason Mount a little bit deeper. Taken off Calvin Phillips or Declan Rice. You put Mount a little bit deeper. We didn't need 2 covering midfielders. Everyone's talking in the game about the valuation of Declan Rice. Declan Rice is a DM. He's excellent. He's a good passer of the ball. But he isn't Xavi, Iniesta, Pirlo, Verratti, Paul Pogba, N'Golo Kante. He isn't of that ilk. No one thinks he is. We needed more. JTT Williams says, wish there was a higher energy attacking youngster like Saka. Manager has to entice the team to be a unit, not just great individuals. And you're absolutely spot on tonight. There was zero team ethos in the way England played tonight. It was absolutely dreadful. Dreadful to a man. And it's every player, really. I would give nobody above a 5 out of 10 in terms of rating. But the big question I want to pose tonight, because I thought he had a stinker, and it's 2 games on the bounce that he's had a stinker. It's 2 games on the bounce that he's not had a touch. in a dangerous area. His first touch has been awful. His hold-up play has been terrible. His approach and interchange has been non-existent. He looks slow. He looks sluggish. Should Harry Kane be dropped for the next game? Should Dominic Calvert-Lewin be given a chance and an opportunity at this tournament to shine? I was very happy to see Southgate drag him off. He deserved to be. Yes, he's the captain. Yes, he's one of the best finishers in the world, but he's playing terribly. I'm a 35-year-old England fan. I've seen us at multiple major tournaments before. I reckon the majority of you watching were born. And I've seen us do this again and again. A player's not performing, but because of who their name is, they stay in the first team. We've done it with Rooney. We've done it with Lampard. We've done it with Scholes. We've done it with Shearer. We've done it with all these people. And do you know what? It's okay to give Harry Kane a couple of, he hasn't scored yet. But do we give him a third game? Do we give him, we're going to make the last 16. I'm pretty confident of that being on 4 points, right? Plus goal difference right now. We're probably going to make it. Do we keep playing if this continues? For me, I think we need to look at seriously. You can call it dropping, you can call it resting, you can call it whatever you want, but I think he needs some time out of this starting lineup. There's no doubt. England seem to be playing off the cuff in the final third. Kane is the weak link. Rather go with creative false nine. Ideally, Sterling, Mount, Foden as the front three. It's an interesting one. Brandon says Mike Bassett over Southgate. Harry Kane missing like Tottenham's new manager. This is why we won't even make the semi-finals. And I don't disagree with you, but the question I'm going to pose in the vote section now before we start bringing people on for their calls, should Harry Kane be dropped by Southgate? That's the question I want to pose to you today. I want to know that as an answer from all of you. That's in there now. It's a yes or no. I need to know. Selection here says Sterling was actually good. Only one who actually was driving forward at the defense. Not sure why Kane was so deep. Hey, listen, I think we can call some players' performances good. I'm not going to argue the toss over that, but we needed more than good tonight. We truly did as a team, and we just weren't there. We just weren't there. Harry Kane needs to be dropped. He has been terrible. I love Harry, but he looks so poor lately. I don't like Kane at Tottenham. Sell to Chelsea is what Malik has got to say. And listen, this isn't about clubs tonight. I'm not thinking about clubs. If you noticed, I was angry Rashford came on in the position that he did because he ain't a hold-up man. We were going long ball to Marcus Rashford. Long ball to Rashford. Why? We might, honestly, we would have been better off sticking Tyrone Mings up front if we're going to go long ball to him. Sarah, I know you're upset about the result, but you believe England's poor performance has effect on Sancho and Kane's price for possible transfers. Not really. I'd love to think so, but it won't. Supply and demand, scarcity, and listen, it's one of them things, isn't it? Like, Man City are looking at Harry. You think Man City are going to play that, but like Harry Kane's not going to get chances put on a plate for him in a Man City team playing for Pep. Like, it's just true. And maybe the way we're playing isn't great for Kane. That's why I'm saying maybe he needs to be dropped. We're going to start going to calls now. We've got David, Jem, Daniel, KJ, Igal backstage, Safe's backstage. Well, not crazy safe, normal safe is backstage. I'm not going to Igal yet because he's got a big fat smile on his face and he's going to come on here and laugh. And I'm actually not letting him do it. I'm not letting him on if he's going to come on here and gloat because he doesn't even support his own country. So, I mean, I can't give someone credibility that downs his own country to support the best country in the world at the moment. He'll be a Germany fan in 4 years, a Spain fan in a decade. And if Canada ever come good, it'll be like, oh, Canada, my home and native. No, he's terrible. He told us backstage the other day that he'd support USA over Canada at basketball. Mate, the guy, no, I mean, he was joking. He didn't really say that. I'm only winding you all up. He's still smiling. Stop smiling, Igal. Stop it. Right, listen, we will bring him on. We will be bringing him on, but make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're sharing this. First up on the show tonight, KJ is with me. What are you saying, bro?
Yo, get him gone, man. Sack him after this tournament. Southgate is terrible. Absolutely terrible. In the first half, look, John Stones needs to score. Mason Mount needs to make a better chance of that try he had. But when the first half done, you say the play, okay, he was on the players. Second half, your manager needs to come out and make changes tactically and personnel-wise. It takes too long to get on to get Jack Grealish on. He should have came at half-time. He should have started. Why is he playing Phillips and Rice against Scotland? Why is Raheem Sterling still on the pitch after he's playing poorly? He does the one brave thing of taking off Harry Kane just to put on Marcus Rashford at striker against a low block. Terry, it makes no flipping sense. It don't make sense. He is a coward. He don't know Wagwan, and he needs to go. He's not good. He's terrible, and he's only there for the little PR, the little waistcoat, the little tie. You know what I'm saying? He's a nice person, nice personality. The FA love him. Get him gone. England have evolved past him. What he did with that team in the World Cup, beautiful, wonderful. You have Asian players, you have players not of quality, but players of quality now. It's time to go past Southgate and get a manager in who can utilize the squad. The reason why Steve Clarke did better with the Scotland team, because he knows his squad inside out and knows who needs to come on when, who needs to play where, how to play. Southgate has got Sancho, Grealish on the bench, Bellingham on the bench. All players that can make a difference. He's got Calvert on the bench, not making any subs.
Can you understand why he only made two? Any rationale behind that?
No, there's no rationale. Because you know what the rationale is? It's like, I don't want to go too attacking because if we lose, it might make people upset. So if I go for the draw, we can still be in the qualifications and we'll be fine. Bruv, they gave it everything they got and hardly had a sniff. They had good chances, yes, but at the entirety of the game, they didn't have that many that are quality chances. You're telling me that you didn't whack on another midfielder, another attacker in the right position, that they wouldn't actually make more chances and potentially score? It's ridiculous. Southgate is the reason why England fans say we can't win the Euros, and it's shown us why he cannot win the Euros. He cannot win the Euros. He could. You know what's funny? Yeah, he'll probably do better against a footballing team like Croatia. But what happens if France says, because they've got the ability, the tactical flexibility to do this, actually you have the ball. Whatever Aidi says, actually no, you have the ball. Break us down.
Yeah.
Portugal, they say to us, you have the ball. Go break us down. It's just going to end in tears because they know how to play with possession, but also play out of possession, and Brett hits on the counter. And it's not looking good. And will England make it for the next round? Yes. Will we get past the round of 16? The better new we get, that's a massive no, isn't it? Like, it's just very frustrating today. Bring me Eddie Howe. Bring me Eddie Howe now.
I totally hear where you're coming from, bro. We'll get you back on with everybody else later, mate. Top man, thank you. Next up to have his say with us is going to be David. Welcome back to the show, mate. Give me your thoughts on England's performance tonight.
That was depressing to watch. That was so bad. How is Grealish not starting? Grealish he came on for 25 minutes or however long it was. He was the best player on the field. Like, comfortably the best player on the field. How Raheem Sterling has played a total of 195 minutes in this tournament, or 185 minutes, and Sancho has got 0. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Sterling was awful. Kane was awful. Foden was better, but he was still awful. Mount was better, but awful. Rice was awful. Phillips was awful. Everyone was the only ones who could actually be like, we did okay with the defenders because they didn't concede. That's it. And they probably should have, because Scotland actually came out and did a lot better than England, and that shouldn't happen. Especially you were at home as well. You had the crowd behind you, and yet still you couldn't do anything. You brought on Rashford over. They're sitting back the whole game. There's no space in behind. Let's bring on Rashford instead of Kane and then play long ball. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't if Calvert-Lewin had come on for Kane, I'd have been like, okay, I understand what you're trying to do. I would have done it personally, but I understand what you're doing. But Rashford, he's been injured for most of the season. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what to say.
It would have made sense. Do you know what? You're up against England versus Scotland. I wouldn't have minded a little bit of Route 1 because they're doing it. We do it back. You're like, Calvert-Lewin could knock down them headers. That ain't Rashford's game. It was, for me, it was pathetic to put every substitution he made to a degree didn't make sense because you know what? The left-hand side was still the best side we had. It's like you strengthened it a little bit with Grealish, but the areas that were not working, you didn't touch them. So, you know, it wasn't working for me with Mason Mount tonight. It wasn't working with Raheem Sterling. It just wasn't. But yet he didn't make those changes sooner. And when you can make 5 subs and you only make 2, it's... Do you know what I think it is, mate? It was to not lose. And this is the one thing about this third place thing that's frustrating. I've seen so many teams do it so far in this tournament, and it shows me we're not on that same page as Belgium's, Italy's, and everybody else because they went to win. Do you know what? Let's just avoid defeat and just guarantee that we get to the last 16. With the plethora of talent we have and the money that our nation pumps into football, it should never, ever, ever be done in that way.
When you look at our bench, we've actually got one of the strongest benches in the whole tournament. No matter what team you start with, our bench is so strong, and you use 2 of them.
Mate,
you didn't even use the right 2.
Mate, I couldn't agree with you more, mate. I could not agree with you more, mate. I'll keep you backstage and get you back on a little bit later, mate. Top man. Next on the show, we're gonna go to Daniel. Daniel, welcome back, mate. 0-0 board draw. Scotland played well though. Give me your thoughts.
England are dead. But Terry, the thing is, I told you this before, and you were getting onto me for being a little bit negative. This team is not good enough. They're not good. And I told you, every team reflects their manager. You reflect the style, the demeanor, the personality of your manager. And Southgate just isn't it. He's not the guy. It was poor all across the pitch. I know people want to Mason Mount. I thought he tailed off. I thought he was quite poor towards the end of the game, but you forgot he was there, especially being England's number 10. Harry Kane was awful, as in absolutely awful. Phil Foden, I mean, look, I understand that Phil Foden maybe should have stayed on because you want to keep your guys, your creative guys on the pitch, but he deserved to come off as well, just as much as Kane did. And when Paul Pogba changes his hairstyle and has a stinker, they're ready to talk about it. Phil Foden won't get a mention. Nothing will get said of his last 2 performances. Sterling was poor, showed a bit of that Man City form. And I know you said you didn't really want to say it's the players, but I mean, I thought that lineup was good enough to beat Scotland. I think they said Scotland was the third.
I said players. I tweeted out, and I tweeted this out. Southgate made some errors with the lineup and some errors with the substitutions, but we were still had the players on the pitch to beat Scotland. Yeah. And it was and there's no way Southgate said, no movement, please, lads. No quick passing, no one-touch football. There's no way he instructed them to do it. That was on them, in my opinion.
Yeah. There is something that Southgate does do wrong, though. I'll come to that. But, yeah, more on the players. Just the fact that you have guys who... There's no risk-takers in the passing. Reece James, who I thought had a good game, again, showed a bit of what he does for Chelsea at times and what we get frustrated with him. No risk taken in his passing. It's like he doesn't want to make a mistake. He wants to make sure that he keeps his place in the team by not taking any risks and not trying to beat his man on the overlap. The same thing with Shaw. I think Shaw started it in the first 5 minutes of the first half, but he didn't do 5 minutes of the second half, sorry, but he didn't do what he does for United, like overlapping constantly, making those bombing runs. And then you got the 2 DMs, man, Rice and Phillips. I mean, Phillips had a good game against Croatia. I do think it was a bit overblown because he got the assist and he played in a bit of a different role. But I mean, today it wasn't good. Like, he wasn't needed. It wasn't necessary. And then when you come to Southgate, the patterns of play, man. You say that Ollie, obviously, you know, that's one of the things that people say straight away about Ollie. This guy clearly does not have patterns of. I don't know what this England team does. I don't understand what they're trying to do. How are they trying to score? Even if you look at some of the friendlies, and people don't want to look too much into the friendlies. I mean, we scored a penalty in one game and then a lucky Saka goal in another game, 2-1-0 victories. And really and truly, in both games, did we really deserve to win both of them, considering the chances that the other team had? Like, I'm not sure, man. And then final point is just the fact that Sancho, I think I said this already. Sancho's got 15 goals and 20 assists in his league in all competitions this season.
I guarantee you, apart from France, Sancho starts for every other national team, including Belgium, including the Portugal, including who else is there? Germany. He starts for all of these teams. Why can't he start for England? I don't understand why he can't start for England. It makes no sense. It's beyond me. It's beyond me.
You're absolutely bang on. It's staggering with Jadon Sancho, the greatest creator in England's squad. And I listen, Grealish does it in a very different way, but Sancho has the numbers. He has trophies. He's done it in the Champions League. The one thing I say about like Grealish and Declan Rice, where there's still question marks and development in their career, they haven't played Champions League football. They haven't played a lot of international football. So they're still finding their feet at this stage. And I think that they both can get better at the highest level. But Jadon Sancho is a Champions League player. He is for me, I look at it and think to myself, it is staggering. What is it that Gareth Southgate doesn't see? And then he brings on, we needed creators because we couldn't break them down. And he's leaving on goal. He's bringing on just goal scorers. And it's like, well, we're not creating the chances for them to put it in the back of the fucking net. Mad.
And obviously, just before, because I know you want to get to everyone so you can go to the panel, but it's like, it's actually brain dead. His decisions don't make sense. Because obviously I don't like to feed into this Twitter narrative of who we want to see in our lineup and whatnot. But if the whole country has Jack Grealish in their flipping lineup, we're not going mad. We obviously watch football as well. Like it doesn't make sense how he chooses his teams. Like against Scotland. So what are you telling me? If we face flipping Slovakia or one of these lower teams that we're supposed to beat, he'd still go in and play 2 6s. Like we don't need 2 6s against teams that are coming to sit and give us the ball. Surely you need to play your technical players in the right positions. Get Foden in the middle. Oh, I don't even know. I'm tired.
I couldn't agree with you. Like I don't care about the formation. It's what that player is good at doing. And we had 2 players that are good at breaking up play. And that's why Phillips had an amazing game the other day, because he was winning that ball back off the checks, and we were recycling it and moving forward. We didn't need to do that today because they had 2 burly. By the way, I thought Che Adams and Dykes, it was like a throwback to like 1980. And I quite enjoyed seeing it. It reminded me of being a kid. But we almost didn't even need the midfield there. And the reason that John McGinn and Billy Gilmour did them is because technically as ballers, they're better, in my opinion. I think they are. Are they as good at shielding and protecting a back line? No. But in terms of technical ability on the ball, John McGinn and Billy Gilmour today, they were better. Maybe not overall. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic. But on the night, they certainly were. Dan, we'll get you back on with everyone soon. Top man. Thank you. We're going to go to more of the normal panel soon, but we're going to go to some of your calls right now. First up, we're going to get Samuel on to have his say. Young Samuel's here. What are you saying?
Well, tonight, I think England's biggest issue in the last 30 years since the great Sir Bobby Robson was England's manager has been exposed. It's the coach. For the past 30 years, the coach has been holding England back, and that's the one thing they can't get right. You know, they had Terry Venables, Glenn Hoddle, Sven-Goran Eriksson, Capello, and Roy Hodgson. It's just poor coaching after poor coaching, and it's been holding England back. I mean, you look at tonight's lineup. I mean, Raheem Sterling didn't want to start after the Croatia game. You know, yes, he scored a winning goal, Terry, but listen, he was absolutely poor in that game. I think Declan Rice. I mean, West Ham have touted this man as a £100 million player. You ain't even worth £10 tonight. Because I think that was an embarrassment. He was not fit to wear the England shirt tonight. I think half these players weren't fit to wear the shirt. But those Scotland players, all right, they rallied behind the manager. They had belief and courage. Something the England players didn't have tonight. They had energy. They knew what they were doing all around. They were struggling to bring Scotland down. Scotland had a clear breakdown game plan. I mean, full forward and everyone saw it from the first 20 minutes that Phil Foden wasn't good enough. Well, wasn't good enough to play in this game because he couldn't break that Scotland line down. It was a low Scottish block. McTominay, Tini, Robertson. I think the right back did very well tonight. I think he's causing England a lot of issues for going up and down the pitch. But Terry, honestly, listen, England have a better squad than I see 95%, 90% of the teams. But the reason England are being held back is the coach. If you look at Spain, they have a worse team, better coach. You could argue that Belgium has a worse team than England. They have a better coach. I mean, there's so many other options. I mean, if I'm being honest right now, I would set Gareth Southgate and bring in Frank Lampard because he has a clear idea. He knows how the system works. Southgate has no clue. He's been in the England job for 5 years and he doesn't know a single thing, Terry.
Lampard.
Listen, he's better than Gareth Southgate because Gareth Southgate for the past 5 years has been clueless. I'm sorry. He doesn't know what he's doing, Terry. The whole of England.
Lampard.
Come on, Terry, come on. For the first 15 minutes.
What has Lampard achieved as a manager in football to be the England coach?
Well, he's done more than Southgate at the club level. Southgate got Middlesbrough relegated. Even before Southgate become...
I'm not, but just because he's done better than Southgate, don't make him good enough, bruv. Do you know what I mean? I reckon I'm a better boxer than you, but I couldn't beat AJ.
No, listen.
Lampard, no. Do you know what we need to do? He's currently managing Italy, and we're not going to get him away from Italy right now. But a manager like Roberto Mancini, Premier League proven, done it in the UK, understands English football, but he's of world-class caliber. That is what's needed. Young Samuel, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Top man, thank you. Tom Lampard. Come on, far too soon. Steve O'Donnell, well done. Motherwell man playing against £100 million player. Stephen O'Donnell, I had no idea who he was. Excellent tonight. And so unlucky. By the way, actually, do you know who did have a good game tonight for England? Pickford. Pickford's 2 very good saves, and he almost come out with one of the greatest assists I've seen from an England player at Euros. If Raheem Sterling was just on it, that was a pass. You could tell he meant it as well to swerve on it. He actually deserves some credit as well tonight. But Stephen O'Donnell, absolutely brilliant. And everyone in the Scotland team deserves credit. My guy, Scott McTominay. Listen, who needs Raphael Varane? Who needs Raphael Varane when you've got Scott Maldini? Scott Maldini, we're going to call him from now. He was brilliant. Harry Kane, 200 million pounds. Let me repeat this. Let me move this out of the way. 200 million pounds. Daniel Levy wants 200 million pounds. Scott McTominay just pocketed him. That doesn't make sense. Add him in his pocket. We don't need Raphael Varane. We don't need Pau Torres. We don't need Jules Koundé. We need McTominay to play at the back. It's a joke, by the way, for anyone going, oh no, McTominay's rubbish. He wasn't tonight. He just put in a performance. He put in a performance tonight for the wee jocks. Graham Potter makes the most sense, in my opinion. England won't get any better. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get this past 1,000 likes while we're live, please, people. Retweet this. Super chat here says Southgate plays. It's a legendary villain. Southgate plays football like Ollie. Why do people keep mentioning Ollie? I just speak about Southgate. Okay, sorry. Shows you can have all the players, but if you can't coach a team for offensive footy, you are done. Man United fans buying players doesn't fix issues. I agree. I agree with you, legendary villain. I agree with you. Dean Smith, thoughts? I don't know. Like I say, I think all the names that have been mentioned, you need a world-class manager. There is no such thing as a world-class English manager. So we need to go and find a world-class manager. He needs to be foreign. Listen, in this country, we drink coffee, we eat sausages, we love pizza, we love a curry, we like kebabs, we like all types of pasta, we like Caribbean food. We eat rice. You know, we listen to reggae. We listen to R&B. We listen to opera. There's all sorts of things we consume in this country. I'm trying to think of other things. We drive German cars. We do all these things in this country that are of foreign origin. And a lot of them, we drink tea. Tea is our thing. You do realize tea ain't grown here, bruv, right? But it's English. It's fine. We've made it part of us. I look at curry as an English cuisine now. It's one of my favorite, right? Part of our multicultural society. Get a foreign manager and a fucking class one. Oh, I gotta be English, bruv. I love this badge, but it doesn't make me think that Mike Bassett's gonna work. I love this badge, but it doesn't make me think, oh, I've just got to do everything. It's English. No. Go and get a class foreign manager. A proper one, bruv. A real good one. I know he tried it with Sven. And I know we tried it with Capello, but we can try it again. Because what are the options? Every English manager is substandard. They're all substandard. Every single one of them. Maybe try Brendan Rodgers. Get an Irishman in. Get a Scot even. We've got to look beyond English managers in my. That's not be able to pop at you, Ellie, but we don't need him. Conte, yes. We need some of that passion. Do you know what I mean? We need some of that. Look, English people can be passionate, but we need the passion mixed with actual managerial brilliance. No more English managers for England. Get rid of the English. Get rid of the English. That's what we need. That's what we need. And to boot, they start recruiting European and international players as English as well. They start finding brilliant 12-year-olds, offer their mum and dad jobs at certain clubs, give them British citizenship and then come play for us, please. That's what we need to do. God, we just need to do it. We do it everywhere else. Let's do that. Graham Potter, mate. No, it doesn't. I've already read that one. It don't make sense. No more English managers, please. I've had enough of them. 80 million Sancho on the bench. Embarrassing England. Absolutely. Grey Wolf Dinner says, people are thick. Yes, we were poor, but England are still very much alive in this tournament. Kane deserves time to get good. Mount was let down by the attack, is what Grey Wolf Dinner believes. I'm going to stop ranting about how much I don't like English things, even though I love English things. Most of the English things I like aren't English, though. Go figure that. Go figure that. My favourite singer's English, but of Nigerian origin. Big up Lamar. Yeah, if there's any justice in the world. Neeks is here. What you saying, bro?
God, Scott Mcdini. Great. And you see right at the end where he just came in the whole melee and was like, this ball ain't getting in. Well done, Scott McTominay. To be honest, I saw the poll on your on the chat, and I think the results of it are an absolute disgrace. Now, I don't know what your view is on Kane, and I may be putting you in that same category of absolute disgrace. if anyone thinks Kane should be dropped by England. Now, if you want to say Kane needs a rest or XYZ, but the amount of calls that I saw during the game, I did see actually your tweet saying that you think it was a right decision to sub Kane off. Kane is not the problem. I'm not even saying that you're saying that, but Kane is not the problem. If you have got the top goal scorer in English football, 4 times Golden Boot winner, top assister in the season just gone, and you can't even get him a clear-cut chance. You can't design a system that gets the best out of your only hope of having any success at this tournament. That's not on him. So yes, you can take off Kane and bring on this person, that person. But if you can't get the best out of Harry Kane, who is the only world-class player in that squad, what hope have you got for the other 25? I'm saying no hope, because it should be the easiest to get the best out of Harry Kane. Jose Mourinho, who people say is done, dinosaur, finished, he got the best out of Harry Kane that we've probably ever seen out of Harry Kane. Now, we know Gareth Southgate on Jose Mourinho's level, but that goes to show how bad a manager he is. It's not good enough. England have to keep Harry Kane on the pitch, but Harry Kane needs to be serviced. Why is Southgate allowing or asking? I have no idea. I'm not in the tactical discussions. Kane to be playing in this false 9 position. You haven't got a Heung-min Son to your left. You're playing Raheem Sterling, who is bang out of form. Like it's so bad. It's so bad, and I don't blame Kane. I can't drop Harry Kane just for forfeit the tournament. That's why I listen. I think your point of view is logically sound, and I get where you're coming from. A few people, I've lost the guys. A few people have commented saying, Terry, how do we re-vote? And they've already voted yes, and now they've changed their minds. Listen, I do understand that. I just think Harry Kane looks off the pace. It seems like his first touch, the ball comes into him. It's almost like he couldn't trap a bag of cement right now when I watch him play, which I think is a little bit of him as well as a system. No, I agree. There was passes that he was just like basic 5-7 yard passes that it was not reaching the target. I agree. But when the other options, Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Rashford as the number 9, you're in a hide into nothing. Like literally, Kane in that performance, England were worse when Kane came off the pitch, and they were bad when he was on the pitch. Like they were terrible when he came, even worse when he came off, because they put
they put a striker in who is not a target man, and they play target man football. And that part of it. Like I said at like halftime, some player accountability, because I thought in the first half it was more the players than the system, in my opinion, because there were things they just could have done differently. But that change, Kane off, Rashford on, and it isn't even on Rashford because
no, it's not.
It's not Rashford's position, but it's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen from an England manager.
Kane off, Rashford on is when you're 1-0 up or maybe 2-0, and the team is then coming on to you, and you're going to hit them on the counter attack. You don't put Rashford on with 10, 15 minutes to go when the opposition is going to be sitting back. And then the first ball that he got was a long ball from the back. I'm like, what's Rashford going to do with that?
And do you know what's crazy about it? Do you know what's really crazy about this? What you do is that's fine to do. Like, take Harry Kane off, but you bring Calvert-Lewin on.
Yeah.
And you bring Rashford on, and you say, right, Rashford, I want you off of Calvert-Lewin. We are going to go long ball. I want you looking for the flick-ons because we know Calvert-Lewin could do that. So there's a way you can play that football so it might be effective. How can I think of that in 30 seconds, but the manager of England, who's on £10 million a year, can't?
England needs to go. And 80 minutes, they've still got Sterling on the pitch, still got Calvin Phillips, and still got Declan Rice. And on the bench, you've got Jude Bellingham, you've got Sancho, you've got another striker on the. Why have you still got two? Let's call them what they are: defensive midfielders. Calvin Phillips played brilliantly against Croatia as a more advanced, but all season, him and Declan Rice have been playing defensive midfield. Their main duty is more to win the ball back or intercept, etc., etc. And you got 15 minutes and they're both still on the pitch against Scotland. It's not France. It's not Portugal.
Yeah.
You've got one way of playing. It's like, regardless of the opposition, this is how we're going to play. That won't get you.
I totally agree. Neeks, I appreciate you coming on, mate, tonight and having your say. Really appreciate it. Speak to you soon, brother. All the best, mate. Take care, Neeks. There's a comment here that's from Thomas Tuchel FC that says, man of the match on his full FA Cup debut, man of the match on his full Premier League debut, man of the match on his full Champions League debut, man of the match on his full Scotland Euro 2020 debut. I'm very proud of this kid. Of course, talking about Billy Gilmour, who grew into the game so impeccably well tonight. He was dead on his feet after 20 minutes, and he got his second win, and he's settled. And he had a tremendous game. And you know what? If he can progress under Thomas Tuchel in the next year or so, Chelsea may not need to go and spend 60, 70, 80 million on new midfielders when you've got young Billy Gilmour coming through. The kid was sensational, no doubt about it. And he absolutely embarrassed the England midfield tonight in every single which way, shape or form. We are going to get the panel on a little bit later. We're going to be discussing Harry Kane. We're going to be discussing what we do next as an England team. Daniel, KJ, David will be involved in that. We've got more calls to do. First up, Egal is here with us. What are you saying, mate? You're on mute, by the way.
Let's put some respect on Kieran Tierney, first of all. Let's put some respect on that Scotland team, because what they were able to do, they were able to play a game where they got more shots than you, they got more shots on target, and you had majority of the possession, you had majority of the time on the ball, you had the better players, you had the better attack, you had the better overall team, but they were set up tactically correct, and they knew their weaknesses and their strengths, and they played it perfectly into their own hands. Where England, on the other hand, you guys got humbled. Today, you guys got humbled. You guys got told, you guys are this team, you're this great team, people putting you on your pedestal. Bonucci coming out saying England have a chance, England are one of the most impressive teams.
Who said England were a great team?
Listen, Bonucci himself said it.
Okay, Bonucci, with respect, Bonucci has nothing to do with England. So which English pundit, manager, player or fan said we're great?
Terry.
You're going to attack the English for something in Italian.
Listen, I'm not attacking. I'm trying to give a fair and balanced.
Okay,
argument. You're taking it personal.
So which English person has said we're great?
Listen, this is not a debate. This is me having my opinion. Let me voice my opinion.
I'm asking you why you're saying, who said we were great though? Where did you get that from?
Okay, who aren't England one of the top favorites to win this tournament after France?
Yes. That's a very fair. That's a very fair comment. I agree with that one. We are ranked as one of the favorites. Yes. Okay,
so in that ilk, aren't you supposed to be a team that's supposed to be able to beat the third worst team in this tournament?
Yes, that's why my title of this video is Outclassed and Embarrassed.
Okay, but you got really defensive right now. So
no, I'm getting defensive because what you've tried to do there is throw in something that nobody has said that people.
No, Terry, you know what this is? You know what this is? When it comes to Arsenal, Manchester United, I don't got you, but today I got you. You can't talk
You
to me.
haven't got me. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. I've come on here and titled my video, England outclassed and embarrassed. I've praised Scotland for how good they were to a man. I've slagged off every England player, cased into our manager, cased into our captain, said how poor we were. We were humbled tonight. We were embarrassed tonight. I'm pulling you up on you tried to put a sly thing in there about everyone was saying England are this great team. I've asked you a question. Who said England are a great team?
Listen, the world odds of who's going to win, England are like third or fourth. That's one. Two, every single English fan says it's coming home. Even if they joking or they seriously mean it, they say it, right? On top of that, when people say teams that have been on the most impressive runs, England is one of the teams that's been on one of the most impressive runs. The actually last team that I think beat you might have been Belgium and Czech Republic, which is the next game. This could be a blessing in disguise, Terry, because this could be the moment where you guys realize you are not this team that is up there with the rest of the teams, and you're going to have to graft and work hard like you did in the World Cup. Because after the World Cup, let me finish. After the World Cup, I felt like I seen almost like you guys walking around a little bit different, walking around like you guys have done something.
You were on here for the prediction show, right?
Yeah, I predicted you guys to get knocked out in the group round of 16.
We predicted, we all picked that. Barring me, I thought we'd get a little bit further, maybe one round more. Everyone said, I don't get where you're getting that we said we were going
to you guys expected to walk the group and win every game. Let's be real.
Who said we were going to walk the group?
Did you expect to lose a game in the group stages?
We haven't lost a game though.
No, but did you expect to drop points in the group stages?
Yes, most likely. England have never, England have never won their opening European game in the European Championship. I don't know where you're getting this from.
No, but you even said it yourself. You guys set records by winning the first game. You expected to win this game today. You expected the last game to be the hardest game, probably, right?
No, expected Croatia to be the hardest game.
Okay, but after how Croatia's playing, you beat Croatia. After that, when you're looking at forward, you expected this game to be the easier game out of the two remaining games.
Yes, and we got humbled and outclassed. I've always said that.
Okay, so Grealish should have started. I don't know what they're doing with Sancho. You guys can easily beat. After everything I've said, if you guys get your act together, you guys can easily beat Czech Republic, but it's win or go home. And at this point, I don't know if you guys have the leadership in that team. Where when you think about it, your best player, your leader in that team, Harry Kane, has never, ever accomplished a major honor. So how is he going to carry England to a major honor? It's ridiculous.
I listen, that's a very great question. I wouldn't say it's win or go home because of the third place ruling. We've got 4 points. We're very likely to go through even if we lose the next game. I mean, you have people like Rio and Gary Neville, Ian Wright, all gassing England up like mad. Agow is right. Listen, then tell me it's them who said it. I was asking who said we're great. Say Gary Neville. I'm asking a question. I have not heard anybody say this England team is great. I think Gary Neville said we've got a great manager, which everybody slammed him for. So
can I ask you a question? What is the tactics on the corners? One thing that I noticed, every time you guys take corners, it's almost like they take it short one time and then cross it in, do something else, switch it up every single time, same shit. It's too predictable almost.
Mate, do you know what I think you're trying to make me? I'm agreeing with shit. I don't know why you're asking me these questions.
No, I'm just pointing out.
I know. I don't get why you're coming at me like this. I actually said something crazy in the build-up to this whole tournament that I think we could go really far. But what did I base it on? I based it on the fact that, like, I can imagine Southgate fluking his way there so he stays in his job. It wasn't a case of I think we're going to outclass everybody and whatnot. It's one of them things. We've predicted England would struggle at this tournament, maybe get out the group stages, but most likely get out the group stages because of the third place thing as a guarantee. But go out in the last 16. I don't really get where you're. I don't kind of get where you're coming.
Let me just stop you right there.
All Saints coming out. I'm so
There's
confused.
One more thing. How the hell did Billy Gilmore win Man of the Match over Kieran Tierney?
How did he win it? Oh, because he was brilliant.
Over Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney literally was the first man to every block. He was every single time you were in the defensive third, Kieran Tierney was the one saving the game. And any time that there was a attack from England, you knew Kieran Tierney was one of the main guys stopping the ball. Kieran Tierney was a man mountain today. And I get Billy Gilmore is a young man, and there might be something about it being a young man, his first game in European tournament. But to me, the man of the match was Kieran Tierney, and that's not even my Arsenal bias. A lot of people would agree with me.
Fair enough. Mate, listen, I personally, I would have given it to Che Adams myself there. I thought Che Adams led the line brilliantly. I thought O'Donnell was brilliant. I thought Tierney was great. I thought Robertson had a good game as well from a leadership point of view. maybe lucky to not give away a penalty. I think he definitely stood on Sterling's foot. But as I always say, one penalty decision, it shouldn't be what you be relying on in games like this. But yeah, Kieran Tierney was excellent tonight. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. Scotland were just sensational. And they, do you know what they played the game? They played to their strengths as opposed to, I don't know, they didn't play up to the occasion. If they'd have played England in this big, all-important game and got overly emotional, I think it would have been a problem for them. So they didn't. They were absolutely phenomenal tonight. England absolutely just I wouldn't say destroyed, but just humbled and embarrassed. And they've got to bounce back from this now. There's got to be a reaction, but we know what our managers like. Gal, listen, great points in the majority, mate. Top man, thanks for coming on, having your say, mate. Speak to you soon. Thank you. Thank you. Gerard here says, best Scotland team for years. Gilmore, man of the match. Southgate has good players, yet can't pick his team. Uninspiring manager, in my opinion. Forget tactics, spirit, soul needed. Do you know what? You make a great point there about England as well. I didn't see fight. I didn't see work rate. And that's so important. A lot of what was wrong with us was moving the ball quickly and making runs off the ball. Those two things would have changed it for us. And when we did it in moments, we opened Scotland up. It was like I don't know, it was like the pressure of the occasion got to us. Rabbits in headlights, I'm not too sure, but it was just atrocious. It really was. We're going to get Jem on the show next. What are you saying, Jem?
Where do I start, bro? I know you've literally been sitting here for an hour listening to it, and I'm sorry if I'm about to ring your ear about it, but it's driven me mad, and it just makes me feel a bit better as well. But I've listened to everyone talk, all the pundits, the player list, etc. But Gareth Southgate, he needs to piss off. I'm sorry. There's a reason why I do not watch. There's a reason why I've reluctantly not watched England up to now, and it was today's performance. England had 9 shots on target. 9 shots in the whole game and only 1 on target. 1 shot on target the whole game. And you look at all the attacking players that England have. That is appalling. And yes, people can sit here and point out players, individual players for their performances, and I agree with it. But there's only one thing you've got to point at, and it's Gareth Southgate. The guy's man management, the guy's decisions in terms of his substitutions stank. The fact that Sterling was still on the pitch didn't make any sense to me. I don't get the whole thing with Raheem Sterling. Like he's today, he couldn't control the ball, couldn't hold the ball. He wasn't really offering anything. Yet Gareth Southgate decides to take off Phil Foden. Yeah, take off Phil Foden when Raheem Sterling's clearly the obvious one that needs to come off for Grealish. Now, I was banging on in the group chat saying that Grealish needs to come on the pitch because I believe that bringing him on the pitch, it might give us something different in terms of when he's got the ball, he can make space for the other players because he attracts players towards him, which is what he does. He dribbles with the ball direct, and I thought we need that. But the fact that Sterling was still on the pitch, and I know that you was going on about Harry Kane as well, and yes, Harry Kane has been very poor. But let's be serious, Terry. He is the only one on that team, yeah, that is world class status, yeah, and he's the only one on that team that, in my eyes, is an out-and-out goal scorer. An out-and-out goal scorer. You don't take Kane off to bring Rashford on and play him in a position that he's not used to. If you're going to take Kane off, you bring on DCL, yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he didn't even think of doing that, yeah. He leaves Phillips and Declan Rice on in midfield. That made no sense. We didn't need both of them on there, and they were both running around dropping stinkers. The only player on that pitch that had a good game, in my eyes, was Reece James, and that's it. And in England, I'm telling you now, everyone, all the viewers that are watching now, England are not going to win anything, World Cups, Euros, if Gareth Southgate is still manager of this football club. Full stop. Full stop.
Jim, listen, I hear where you're coming from, mate, and I hear the frustration in there. And I think your Harry Kane points are a fair bit of analysis and everything else. We don't have out-and-out goal scorers like him, but it's just the combination. It's the one word I would use about England tonight, overall, in every decision that Gareth made, is balance and a lack thereof. It was awful in that regard. It really was. Listen, I know you waited patiently, mate. Thank you very much for coming on, having your say. Really appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Do me a favor, everyone. Over 3,000 people watching live now across all platforms. Please hit that like button. Please retweet. Please share. But make sure you hit the bell notification button and subscribe to the Football Terrace. We passed 195,000 subscribers today, which was amazing. So a massive thank you to all of you that have done that. Next on the show, we're going to go to Safe. Safe's here with us. What are you saying, mate?
How you doing, Terry? It's nice to be back on. First thing I want to say about that was 1 shot on target. And England came into that game as like the the bigger team or the team with the better players and whatnot. And just looking at the paper, we simply have the better players. And I'm not degrading Scotland or anything by saying that, but it's easy. You look at the paper and you see that we've got better players. It all comes down to poor management. Like, you look at the game itself and all the points that have been said, I'm literally going to reiterate them. The fact that Sterling was on the pitch way longer than he should have been. You brought on Rashford when you've got Calvert-Lewin sitting on the bench, and you want to play long ball football and bring Rashford on. Like, I just don't understand what the point of that was. You've got goal scorers in Kane. All right, I understand taking Kane off because Kane was just, do you know, like, I think the expectation for him is a lot higher, but he just was poor today. Like, I just didn't see him do anything special in the box. Even the chances that he did get, in fact, sorry, not chances that he did get, when he's picked up the ball in space, he just didn't do anything with it. Very slow to turn, not looking up at passes. And it's just very frustrating to see. It's like, why are we not doing things? We've got Jadon Sancho sitting on the bench. He's had he's not the best, but he's had a good season in Germany. And you're not going to bring him on. And I don't understand why. Like, how many more minutes does this guy need to get in Germany? How many more how much more great performances does he need before he starts getting time in an England shirt? But it's just a spineless performance. And another thing I want to say about Southgate is I feel like there's a real lack of leadership in that dressing room in the sense of a manager, because the players just seem like they lack confidence. They seem like they're scared to make mistakes. And I don't know if it's down to the British press. I don't know if it's down to the pressure of wearing that England shirt, because obviously the Premier League's English and we've got a long history and everything like that. But players like Reece James, every single chance he had, he's on the right wing, every single pass, well, 9 out of 10 passes literally went straight back to Stones. He wasn't looking for any passes up the pitch. And it's just like we're going round in circles. And I understand recycling the ball, but there's times where players need to have that confidence to play the difficult pass. They need to pick out that through ball so we can break through. And the expectation before this game was that Scotland are going to probably play the low block or go deep kind of thing. And the thing is, they didn't go as deep as expected. And we had so many chances to break into those gaps. And we just didn't, because we were just too slow.
No, I hear you. A lot of people are saying that's the media. It's the media. I think we've got to wake up a little bit here and realize the Italian press and public put pressure on them, the Spanish, there's pressure on every major nation. And it doesn't matter how good or bad you or I think a country is. It's about the amount of money and focus football has within a nation. And like, there's no pressure on the Scots or the Irish or the Slovakians or I'm going to throw another name, North Macedonia, to do amazing at this tournament in terms of semi-finals and beyond, because of the size of the nation, the money that's pumped in, the importance of football within that country compared to other places. It just isn't as big, in my opinion. It just isn't, because if they were spending as much money and had as big a focus, their teams would be better. That's generally the way these things work. And England, just as you say, they crumble. They nearly always shrink in violets all the time, and it's really embarrassing to see. And a lot of that is leader-led. We know what Southgate's on, but I've still got this horrible feeling that we're going to end up going deep into this tournament by hook or by crook or by fluke and keep him. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying I want us to do that. Like, of course I want us to go far, but I get this horrible. I hope it sounds so horrible. It's like I'm hoping my own nation loses. It's like I want us to do well, but if we do, it means Southgate stays. And I just don't think he's ever going to be good. I think we need to find a world-class manager. This isn't like a rebuild. This isn't like a club that needs to rebuild. It's had all these problems. Like England, do you know how much? Like, you can't rebuild England because you can only pick English players. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. So for me, I just look at it like, go and get the best manager possible in the world who's available to manage this group of players. And there isn't a single manager who fits that criteria. A British passport, probably barring Brendan Rodgers. Maybe he's interested in the few years safe. We'll keep you backstage and get you back on soon. Top man, thank you. Next on the show, Tom Little's here. What are you saying, mate?
I mean, where do I start? I'm going to start with Southgate. I think that's where we start. The man's paid £10 million a year to not renew his BT subscription and not watch the Bundesliga. There's no way that Raheem Sterling this season has performed better than Jadon Sancho. Yet Raheem Sterling has got 2 full games, and Jadon Sancho went in the squad for one and was an unused substitute in the other. It's embarrassing. Harry Kane, we're not Tottenham. You need to realise we're not Tottenham. We don't have Harry Winks being your chief creator behind you. Go get it in the box. You're on number 9. We've got Grealish. We've got Mount. Yes, they didn't play well today. But when they're getting into them positions to create something, they've got no one to cross to because you're too busy on the edge of our D running in because you've been dropping back, trying to create stuff. Raheem Sterling shouldn't have been on that pitch past half time. There's just so many things wrong with that England performance today. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing what they've done today. They've got too complacent. They beat Croatia, the toughest game. They went, we've smashed it. It's sound. We'll just cruise to everyone else. No, this was Scotland's big game. And they've came out and played like it. We just let it happen. And it's pathetic.
I could, mate. Do you know what? You've summed it up. We're going to get you back on with the panel soon, mate. And I couldn't have summed it up more perfectly in terms of that final word, pathetic, because that's what it was tonight, mate. Listen, we'll speak to you again in a minute. Thank you very much. Someone says, isn't Brendan Rodgers Northern Irish? He is, but that means he'll have a British passport. Well, probably. He might have an Irish one. Some people do. My son has both. My son has a British and an Irish passport. Very good. It'll be very good for him when the queues are massive because we're out the EU. Do you know what I mean? He'll be away, and I'll be queuing up for about 6 months. Next on the show, speaking of the Irish, it's man like Latimus Prime.
Hi. I don't know why.
What the?
England fans
what are
are
you
so.
doing? Why are you dressed like that? Why did you hood up and a hat on in house?
My hair.
I'm only messing around. He's like,
I'm just covering my hair. It's a bit of a mess.
But
anyway,
I just having a wank. Calm down. Like, relax. He's relaxed.
No. It's just my hair. Anyway, the game. Look, I watched the game and I put in the group chat. I actually quite enjoyed it. Like, I don't get what the big uproar about it, especially with Southgate. I mean, tonight you guys had chances to score, and Sterling in particular didn't take them. I don't really think that's a Southgate problem. You talk about, Grealish playing or not playing. He wants to give a chance to Foden. Foden hasn't done well in the past 2 games, so he definitely, should be dropped. But Scotland came here and they turned up and they showed that they're not easy pushovers. And for England fans saying that they beat them comfortably 3-1, people saying 4-2, and Scotland turned up and on the night they were better than you. I think you have to give them more respect instead of saying that, oh, we should have beaten them, it's Southgate's fault.
Well, listen, I've given him getting a lot of feedback from whatever it was doing. I'll just put it on mute for a second. I mean, I think I've praised Scotland a lot. I think I have.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about you. Like, I'm talking about England fans in general. Like, don't. Sometimes stop looking at just yourself. Look about what's around you and actually assess other teams.
But the people, but that's. Do you know what though? I'm going to quote Neeks here. I don't like to steal things from people. Fans aren't meant to be analysts of their opponents. Fans are meant to talk about their own feeling. Like Scotland tonight will not be saying, all the Scottish fans will be celebrating their team performance. Billy Gilmore, Robertson, Tierney, Donnelly, Shea Adams. They'll be celebrating them. They'll be buzzing they've got a draw at Wembley. They'll be drinking the night away. They won't be sitting there going, oh, we got lucky though that 3 or 4 players didn't turn up. They won't be, because they won't analyse England like that. Maybe when they're tomorrow morning having their fry-ups and they're getting over their hangovers, but fans are not meant to do that. Like, do you know what I mean? Fans are meant to analyse a little bit of their own team and vent about what they're happy or unhappy with. And I think more fans should go back to being fans as opposed to all trying to be football analysts, I think.
I know, and I get that, but my point is just, like, for me, I don't think Southgate is doing a bad job for what he has at England. He's not perfect. He's not a world-class manager. Could you do better than him? Yes. But for England fans to act like he's just completely terrible and horrible and he's not doing anything, I think it's a bit, like it's exaggeration and it's not really fair to him. Like, give him a bit of credit.
No. Listen, they deserve a lot of credit tonight. There's no doubt about it. Listen, I'm going to let you shoot off, mate, and go and wash your hair or whatever it is you were doing tonight, bro. You look proper gangster, though, bruv. You look proper G, bruv. Honestly, you look scary. You look proper scary. No, I'm joking. You don't. You just like a prime still, but you know what I mean? I ain't joking, my brother. You take care, mate. I'll speak to you soon. One final caller before the panel's back on. Bryant's here from the US of A. What you saying, brother?
I actually like a little bit of the
the England tears. To be completely honest, makes me feel good.
Oh, Waden, I don't want to speak to you. No, I ain't joking, bro. I'm only joking.
No. But you know, I understand. I understand where you guys are coming from. The you know, Southgate is a bit of a pragmatic kind of manager. So I mean, oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. I appreciate that. Actually, I don't appreciate that. Who is that guy? Don't make. I better not find you.
Gandhi.
But,
oh no! I thought you were asking who Gandhi was. I was like,
no.
Christ, how shout is America?
I mean, relax. Our education isn't that bad, but you know, I mean, he's a bit of a pragmatic manager. He doesn't really know how to use, like, England is very attacking heavy in the players they can choose from. They've got supremely talented players. I don't see cohesion. I don't see chemistry. I don't see leadership in that England team, not in the way that I do in some of the other nations that are also very, like, heavy in attacking talent. So I also kind of agree with Prime to an extent that probably should give Southgate like a little bit more credit. You could do better than him, but I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, you know. And I get it. You're like, a lot of people are frustrated with the performance. They're frustrated with how things have gone, just performance wise, and they want to see better. And as a fan, you have absolutely every right to want the best, to want to see the best. You're not going to sit down and watch 2 hours. You don't want to sit down and watch 2 hours of that. So I completely understand that. But I don't know, England. The point in international, I feel like the point in international football, because from my perspective as an American, as a U.S. national team fan, is if we go into the World Cup, I don't care who we play. I just want us to get through. Right? And for me, and I think that because the quality of the England team is a little higher, maybe you expect a little bit more, especially in the group that you're in. You're not in the group with France and Germany, you know. You're in a group with Croatia and the Czech Republic and Scotland. So you should be able to flex a little bit more.
You're right. And you know what? I was so excited about tonight because I felt that, you know, it's not been warm last few days in the UK. It's an evening game. It was raining. I expected more energy to be used. I understood why we had periods in the game against Croatia where we took our foot off the gas, because it was 30 degrees in the shade. So in the direct sunlight at Wembley, easily 33, 34 degrees. You don't want a team running around mad for 90 minutes. You want them taking it easy at times. And it's just disappointing to have beaten Croatia. A lot of people said before the game, the tournament started, they were the favourites to go through as group winners. To beat them in the first game and then to lose this, it reminded me of Man United this season. You know, you beat PSG in Leipzig and then you go and lose to Istanbul. It's a mad one. But listen, Brian, thanks for calling in, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Top man. Thank you. Speak to you soon. Mahatma Gandhi's not coming home. Do you know what, though? I'm still putting on 3 lines and Vindaloo and World in Motion before a game. I'm still wearing my England shirt. I'm still draping myself in an England flag. I'm still supporting my country because I won't turn my back on any of my sports teams. If AJ loses against Uzak, I'm not going to stop supporting him. He's one of my own. He's from London. Well, sort of London, Watford. Watford's a weird place. Sometimes they want to be considered London. Sometimes they don't. Depends if they're buying or selling a house. Let's get the panel on now, though, to have their say. The debate we're going to go into, there's 2 subjects I want to speak about. The first one, Harry Kane, should he stay in this team? The second one I want to speak about, and I want your opinions on, is England need Maguire's ball-playing ability from the back in to be able to carry that football forward, to almost add an extra body when we're on the attack as well. I want some views and some opinions on that. I see Daniel rolling his eyes backstage, but I'm asking questions. My job is to ask questions. It's down to you to give those answers. Or should England try and convince Scott McTominay? Because Scott McTominay, I'm saying it now, best centre-back in the world tonight. Just tonight. I don't know if any others are playing, but tonight, best centre-back in the world. Listen. Let's go. What's going on, gents? How are we all?
Yo, there's last reading, bro.
Terry, you need to stop yourself, honestly. He wasn't even good, McTominay. We played him behind him so many times.
Well, hang on, I know you're young. Do they teach, you're at university?
No,
they not teach you about sarcasm? They not teach you about sarcasm?
Terry, I'm rattled. My head's gone. Man, I'm rattled. No jokes
Can't
today.
be letting Terry trigger you. Come on, man.
My head's gone.
Let's
No,
end
my
this
head's gone.
stuff.
I've sat through 2 hours and Southgate has wasted my life. And for what?
Hey,
What for?
And then
before we get into just quickly, KJ, before we get into the debates, that was the biggest waste of time of my life. Oh my god, I could have done so many things.
I'm 19
That was a
years
big
old.
waste of time.
There are so I would have sat another exam. I rather would have sat another exam. Oh,
Well, that Stones header was the biggest false dawn of my life. I thought we were pamming them at that point. I thought it was over. Jesus Christ.
My sisters. Guys, if you guys have played FIFA 21, yeah, that was a peak game of FIFA 21. That's how bad it was. I'd rather play FIFA 21. I just unlocked Jack Grealish on the FIFA thing. Let me go play now, bro. Oh, listen, Terry. Harry Kane. I'm sorry, people might say I'm mad, but what is he doing in the team? Like, honestly, what is he doing? What is he here to do? Because if Southgate ain't making an environment where he can be in the box and score goals, why is he there?
He's playing false nine.
You see the silence. You see the silence. No,
He thinks he's got Harry Winks behind him. He thinks he's got to be the creator and the scorer. No.
But,
But see, I disagree. So Harry Kane is dropping deep because the ball isn't getting played into him. All strikers at all clubs, at all levels, at all nations, if they're not being fed the ball, they go looking for it. They want to try and create something. I don't blame Harry Kane for that. I understand Neeks' point that the system isn't getting the best out of him. Or did we create 2 or 3 clear-cut chances tonight for Harry Kane to score? The answer is no. But equally, in the approach play, every time that ball came into him, it was bouncing off him like a. You know what I mean? You ever try to catch a bouncy ball? You know what I mean? Slam a bouncy ball on a rock hard floor.
He was looking stiff. He was looking stiff as well. Like, he looks tired. He looks jaded.
The counter. Do you remember the counter when it was like 4-3?
Hey, the counter. You look like a parachute was holding him back.
Bro,
Like,
he was blowing. He was blowing.
No, but in all seriousness, though, like for me personally, I look at that England team, and yes, you can give a lot of blame to Harry Kane. I was even saying we can't shy away from the fact that, look, at the end of the day, look at the over-analysis we're doing for England, struggling to beat Scotland. I mean, the 3rd lowest ranked team in the tournament, I think they said. Like, I mean, I don't take the ranking seriously, but England shouldn't be struggling to beat Scotland. I'm sorry. Like, it just should not be happening if that's the so-called one of the favourites. But the common denominator, the problem of this team is the manager. I keep saying teams reflect their manager. Teams reflect his personality, his tactics, his intelligence. And I have no doubts that Southgate is probably a smart guy. He's down to earth. Players obviously clearly like him. He's probably likable and whatnot. But at the end of the day, tactically, he's not aware of the surroundings and the situation at hand and how to deal with it, how to change it. He doesn't know how to change things for the better. Like, you look at something like Harry Kane doing what he's doing. I don't think there was tactics or there wasn't clear instructions where he was telling him, Harry Kane, just stay in the box. I need you to stay there. We'll get the ball to you. Or there wasn't this assurance, because you can see that the players weren't really sure what they were supposed to be doing and where the goal was supposed to be coming from. And that comes from the manager. This is what I keep trying to say. There's no reason on earth why in a game where, fair enough, England didn't have to win, but a game where they clearly should have wanted to win, being the better team, significantly better team, should we end that game with 2 6s on the pitch? I don't want to hear the argument that, Scotland were coming onto us, so we wanted to make sure we didn't lose the game. I'm sorry, I'm not hearing it.
There isn't an excuse. Do you know what? Tonight's game isn't even about tournament football. It's England versus Scotland. It is the oldest football. It's the oldest international football match in the world. It's the most historic football match in the world. It's the game that England should want to win more than any other football match. Barring being in a final, which we never are, it should be the game we want to win more than any other rivalry. This is a North London derby. This is a Glasgow derby. This is El Clasico on an international level for England. They're our biggest and our longest enemy, Scotland. And in footballing sense, it's all love and hugs before and after. But during that game, we should want to beat them. And Southgate absolutely embarrassed the nation tonight by not trying to win. With 20 minutes to go, you can throw 4 attacking players on and go hell for leather. I'd be more forgiving. But we didn't try and win. Embarrassing.
He's not inspiring. Like Steve Clark, is he the greatest manager in the world for Scotland? No. But you know that my man's words, when he speaks to those Scottish players, listen and be like, right, cool, let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's do this. Southgate speaks. You can't see him inspiring nobody. You can't even inspire the nation.
Like a maths teacher, bruv.
Like it's mad. It's like if you look at all the managers in the last 8 years who have won international major trophies, or even go longer than that, 2008 from this point to now, all of them have something in common. They've won at club level.
Yeah,
wow.
and I do get that. I want to bring it back to I totally get the points on Southgate that we've all made. So I'm not going to say for this. Should Harry Kane start the next game?
No, 100% no. I don't think he was convincing enough. I don't think he knew what he was doing. At Tottenham, he's got a team that plays around him. He's got basically the game is based on him. But when it comes to England, it's a different game. He hasn't got the same people around him and stuff. And I just don't think he convinced me enough. And I'm not saying rule him out completely from the England squad, but if he needs a break, give him a break. And yeah, that's it for me.
All right. This kind of reminds me of when there's a period during the Nations League where Harry Kane was injured, and so we had to use a false 9, a forward line that was more quick and nippy. And we played the Netherlands, and we was on them. We was beating them. And as soon as Harry Kane came on, the whole game changed, slowed down, and Netherlands went back into the.
Do you know what it kind of reminds me of? Yeah. Sorry. Do you know when Liverpool played Barcelona and Salah got injured, and the game suddenly wasn't based around that key player, and suddenly all the players around that player have to work that 10% harder, and it's just like we're relying.
It's not that.
What I'm trying to say is, when Harry Kane is not fully fit, and you can clearly see that he's not, you don't play around. You don't play to him. You don't play around him. I feel like he needs a rest. I feel like he's had a long season. It's a very long season with Spurs, mentally as well. He's got stuff going on in the background. We know that's going on with the Spurs. He needs a rest. Take him out, let him take a breather, and put DCL in. Or I don't think he would ever do this. Or change it up. Maybe put Rashford in from the start for striker, but have players they can interchange with, so he doesn't have to stay up front.
The problem is
KJ,
DCL is not good enough. DCL's not good enough.
Sorry, go on, David.
I'm sorry, DCL. Right, I understand he had a good season, but he is not good enough to be in this England team. He really is not. All he can do is head the ball. I think he scored 3 goals with his feet all season. No, honest. I am one of KJ will know this. I do not like Calvert-Lewin at all. I think he's so overrated, and especially with Southgate, there is no way we are playing to his strengths. At least Everton, it's like whipping the ball loads of times. What did we do today? Nothing.
No, that's true. I hear that. Fair enough. There's the playing to the strengths argument, which I totally hear. But the two things that I disagree with, and it's more of a wider point rather than focusing on DCL, and I'll link it to the should Kane start. It's the thing where who is good enough to start for England, because no one's really shown me that they're great. No one's shown me that they really want to take it by the scruff of the neck. And look, everyone needs to be held accountable, because fair enough, yeah, Grealish came on to the country's what's it called? Everyone singing and dancing and whatnot, but he did this as well when he came on. And fair enough, he was coming into a game where it was hard to really influence. But I mean, that's what he was brought on to do, to come and have an impact, and he didn't. But with the Kane situation, it's difficult. This third game is the game to drop him, because I don't see England going out because they have 4 points. If you don't drop Kane in this game, you can't drop Kane in a knockout game. You can't. It's impossible. Round of 16, because if England lose and Kane didn't start the game, I think Southgate would. They probably might sack Southgate that night. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how bad it would be. So the repercussions would be too heavy for that. I do think Kane needs a breather in it. So the third game is the right time to do it. But if he plays Kane again, then he's basically saying Kane's starting every single game.
Yeah. Do you think if he changes the midfield, and changes the wide players, You
Midfield
can
has to
start Harry Kane still.
KJ, Foden should be playing centrally, and Sancho should be in this team. He should be playing 2 8s and a DM. I've never seen a team that wants to win, especially with the squad that we have. Fair enough, we might not have the defense, but we definitely have the midfield and the attack. I've never seen a team play with 2 DMs. Tell me what national team has won with 2 DMs. Please, just enlighten me, because I've never seen it happen.
France with 3D on the wing and that, like, that's a DM.
I hear what you're saying, Dan, and for me, I think on Kane not being rested for the, and everyone's got an opinion whether Kane should be dropped. And the reason I'm asking is it's 2 bad games on the bounce, and I think that I think it's a fair question to pose, because I've just watched too many tournaments where a star player isn't performing, and we've persisted, and they've never had a good performance. And maybe every time it's been the manager, but sometimes you can just, at least for this next game anyway, we are out of this on 4 points. We're pretty much, unless we get spanked by like 3 or 4-0, we're probably going to make it into the last round of 16. Rotation has to happen as well, and that's what I'm actually fearful of when it comes to Southgate again making a bad decision, is that we again overplay people. If Sterling gets 90 minutes again, that's 90-minute games in under 2 weeks. Kane gets nearly 90 minutes again. We have to rotate for this next game. We have to keep it fresh. The likes of Sancho and Grealish, Rashford have to start. I want to see Maguire come back into this team. I think we are better, especially games like tonight, where I think Maguire helps us. He's done it for Man United a lot of times. He can dribble with the ball and walk with the ball and come with the ball up to near the edge of an opponent's half, and he's still comfortable in possession. Tyrone Mings and Stones, that in my opinion, are not good enough to do that. And it almost adds, when you're up against a low block team, it adds like an extra midfielder, meaning your midfield can push further forward. So that's what I want to see in the next game as well. But with the Harry Kane thing, I just think he's going to have a really bad tournament now. I'm looking at the way he's playing and looking at his body language, and I understand the system point. I understand selection issues elsewhere in the team. I just think he's going to have one of those tournaments where we could play 4 or 5 games in this tournament, and I just don't think he's going to score a goal unless it's a penalty. I really, really don't. Tom, would you drop him? And if so, who would you bring in and how?
I think next game he doesn't play, but that's purely for a rest point. I think he's got to play, because at the end of the day, when you get into these sort of games and tournaments, knockout stages, they're decided by fine lines. And if I could have it fall to anyone in the box, I'd want it to fall to Harry Kane. And if he's not playing and it does end up falling and he would have been there, we'd be sat there ruining it. I think you've just got to have him there in case of that. He can play himself into form, but what he's shown so far is so poor. I just want him to be a classic number 9. He is such a good number 9. He's not the number 10. We've got players who can do that for you. We've got Mount, we've got Grealish. Just get in the box, because you're arguably the best finisher in the world. That's all we need. I just want to start doing that.
And I hope that works. Zane here with a super chat says Kane nothing compared to Henry, Wright, Wiltord, Terry, Tierney, light years ahead of Shaw, and England boring to watch as much as United. Not seen you in a while, Zane. Thank you very much for the super chat, and it's always a pleasure to hear your opinions. Jesse Dyer says Portugal always play with 2 DMs. I agree, though. It's not the way forward. And look, listen, I'm going to sound harsh here. They didn't win that.
They didn't win the game in 90 minutes.
Playing brilliant football. Plus
like,
they've got
England
don't have Cristiano Ronaldo to get us to a final. Don't have Cristiano Ronaldo to get us to a final as well, which I just, I feel that's there as well. In terms of the next game, though, David, mass rotation?
Yes.
Or...
Get rid of them all. All of them need to go. My head's gone. Chilwell's got to come in. Tyrone Mings attempted an overhead kick from a corner. I'm sorry. He's going back.
I was leaving.
Away. I don't need him there. Go.
Listen, do you know how big my man's head is? My man's head is massive. And he tries an overhead kick. But look how small his foot is compared to his head. What's going to hit the ball more, fam?
This team
I want 4-3-3. I want Chilwell at left back. I want 1 DM. I want Bellingham and I want Mount and Bellingham and whatever. I don't care, but Bellingham's got to play. And then I want Kane there. Just in case he scores, because then he'll be a bit more confident. And Sancho's got to play over Sterling.
No, but David, we're
He's got
deluded
to.
though. Apparently, we're deluded because that is just not going to happen in
No,
any.
I get that's not going to happen. But a man can dream, okay? I can
We
dream.
can, but we
I
do
can
this
dream,
to
bro.
we do this to ourselves all the time because I'm just tired of every single tournament the same thing happening. Like even after the Croatia game, I know I don't want to sound harsh and sound like a Debbie Downer and whatnot, but I don't even think that was that impressive either. First 20-minute spell, yeah, cool. And I understand everyone was trying to underrate the Croatia team. Croatia are still a quality team, in my opinion, but we took advantage and we took our goal and whatnot. But I didn't think we were at our scintillating best. But tournament football, you just need to get the job done. But today was literally a chance to put on, like every top team, in my opinion, has shown something. France have shown that they don't need to get out of top gear against Germany. Portugal have shown that they don't need to be at their best, but they can still win 3-0. Yeah. Italy have shown they can put on a statement and put on a clinic. Today was the day to do that against one of our biggest rivals. Go out there and put on a performance, a solid, nice little 2-0 win, and we would have been dancing and been happy. But this team fills me with no confidence, man.
No, it's true. And that's a mentality thing, though, and that is a mentality thing that we just don't have, and that's even something I won't fully put on Southgate. We've been that way my whole life, my entire life. We beat Spain on penalties once, we beat Colombia on penalties, we smashed Holland in a group stage game in Euro '96, which was brilliant. We did brilliantly in a group game against Argentina. We beat them 1-0, Beckham penalty in 2002. I'm racking my brains now for brilliant tournament performances from England in my lifetime. People forget, even in 1990, when we got to the semis, we were not very good in that tournament. Like, young people won't know this. We drew half our games. We barely scored goals. We weren't good. We got there by... I'm not having a look. So Bobby Robson, I'm not going to disrespect his memory. Great manager, but we weren't going through the rounds. Oh my God, we weren't doing we didn't start the tournament like Italy have started right now. Is what I'm saying. We weren't doing it killing. As a comment from Aaron, I put your super chat up. You spoke about late hopping on the stream, and that it was a crime not to put Jack Grealish up. I think I definitely saw that. Yeah. Hamid here says, I want everyone to answer this. Who is the worst in-game manager, Ollie or Southgate? What are you saying? I'll let KJ answer it. What are you saying, KJ?
Bro, it's not even a debate, man. I've seen games, maybe very rare, but I've seen games where Ollie has made a change and it's worked and he's got the W. Maybe from behind, maybe nil, whatever. He's done that. Can anyone tell me when Southgate has ever done that? Please, someone tell me, bro. Like, Southgate is not good. It's Southgate.
Living on that 2018 hype. On that 2018.
You know how worried I am if we go down? I think we go down.
Oh, my days.
Exactly.
Ali was England manager. At least, if you want to go down, right, we're getting powers now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to do something. Like, this Southgate, brother, is whack, bro.
There's another comment here that says, watch the next game be the same lineup, but with Henderson instead of Phillips.
I'll be happy.
That's the best comment of the night. Sorry, Jake. That's the best comment of the night because that's what it'll do. And then we'll win it, right? We'll win it 2-0. We look good. And then that's our main team. And then they'll all start again in the next game and be exhausted and lose. And it's the pattern. It's the pattern.
I know people want rotation. But part of me is like, you know what we need is just momentum. You know what I mean? So I would, if I was Southgate now, I'd be like, right, from the 2 games that I've seen, who are the players that I know are guaranteed going to get me through? Who are definitely going to be, and then maybe put them with players who need to come in and then also improve the team, and then just go with that forwards because literally he's got nothing to lose. He's got nothing to lose at this point because he's not going out. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got to get through. So I might as well look at a team and pick a team and be like, right, this going forward should be the formula that I need to work.
However, do you trust him to pick the right players? No, I don't.
Hell no, bro. That's the issue.
Watch Jordan Pickford won't be in goal next game. That's the kind of thing he'll do. Ramsdale will somehow make it in nets.
Sancho won't be in the squad.
Exactly. One thing I will say, I think Jordan Pickford's actually having a pretty decent tournament, made some good saves in both games. His distribution's been excellent. He's actually, I was saying during the game, that he's been having a lot of like using a psychologist over the last year to basically stop him from being so rash. I also think he's doing better since he's grown his hair a bit because he looks less like one of those nutty Englishmen on an 1825 holiday. Do you know what I mean? You know those nutters that's like, oh, I have it. You know them boys, isn't it? You know what I mean? You see the in-betweeners where they go to Ibiza?
Yeah.
You know the kid that's like all by himself, like, all right, lad, so can I be your friend? That's Jordan. That's Jordan Pickford on a holiday. Like he's like one lad who's just by himself, but he's a nutter. And I think he's calmed down, but he's doing really, really well. But yeah, man, it's a crazy one to me. But look, we will live and learn. Sorry,
very quickly, yeah. But this is we obviously spoke about it when it was just the one-on-one calls, but to everyone else on the panel, apart from France, especially after the season he's had, or the 3 seasons he's had, tell me what international team Jadon Sancho doesn't start for. Because I'm really clueless.
England at this point. England.
I don't get it. England is the only team that could ever have the audacity.
Boys, this ain't even, again, Daniel, you're a little bit older. I don't think you're as old as me, though. Andy Cole could barely get near an England squad. And he was killing it. Michael Carrick didn't get near an England squad. And he was dominating the midfield for the most successful team in England in his era. You had Gary Pallister, was nowhere near the England team. And he was literally, our centre-backs for England were guys that weren't winning trophies. And then you had Bruce and Pallister winning back-to-back Premier Leagues and doubles. And it was like, they weren't even getting picked. This has gone on in England for a long, long time where quality players get overlooked so much. And I think Jadon Sancho is going to be another one, you know. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Sorry, anyway.
What's mad?
KJ.
Yeah, go on.
No, I'll just say quickly, David might know this with if you play rugby or whatnot, and it happens with football. In uni as well, England's the only place where you have so much uni politics in football as well, where even the best players don't play.
Oh my God, trust me, bro.
It's not, like, I'm telling you, there's something inherent in English coaching across sports. I'm telling you, there's something there. There's a pattern there.
It's passion and desire above ability. That's what it is.
Drop my son today.
Like someone needs to do a deep dive into
one at a time, guys, slow down. One at a time, please. Go on, KJ.
It's not even that, bro. Because if it was just passion and desire only, we would have beat them today. It's not even passion and desire. It's just who is nice for politics. That's all it is. That's all it is. Who is nice for politics? Let's put Raheem Sterling there for his fight against
Raheem Sterling, MBE. He needs to be in that team.
You know what I mean?
He weren't even good against Croatia either. He weren't even good against Croatia, but he got a lucky goal. And it's Raheem Sterling. He's found his form. He's gonna lead us forward.
But hang on, I disagree. Look, I think he deserved to start after getting the winning goal. But it's about not being, and I'm going to use a word Ollie Out has used, being too sentimental. I don't think Jadon Sancho is being left out for any political reasons myself. I think it's more there's something about him that Southgate just doesn't quite fancy. Clearly, Man United fancy it. Clearly, Ollie fancies it. Clearly, they really want to bring him back. I don't know what it is. I mean, the same reason why 3 managers running so far at Chelsea just haven't bought into Callum Hudson-Odoi, but we're all screaming to see him play more games. Sometimes these things happen, but I do think if it was a 23-man squad, Sancho wouldn't be here.
No, he wouldn't be here. And this is what makes it even more frustrating. Italy and England are probably the 2 squads you can say that are closest to being a club squad, because all of them, man, play in the same league. So how can England not find a way to get all these guys who play in the same league to galvanize and also play a football that they all can do? The only 2 players that don't play for England in England are Sancho and Bellingham, and they play for the same team in Germany.
Yeah, they don't even play anyway.
I'll tell you what it comes down to, though. The best footballing team in England for the majority of my lifetime has been actually, you could throw Arsenal play the best looking football, but the most successful team with good football were Man United. And I remember watching Man United players get ridiculed for how come Scholes and Beckham and Rooney are not as good for England as they are Man United. And I was like, well, one's got Sir Alex Ferguson managing them. The other one's got Steve fucking McLaren. That's your answer. That's why there isn't the cohesion, because Pep Guardiola manages the Man City boys. The Liverpool lads, like Jordan Henderson for Liverpool and Jordan Henderson for England, are bipolar. because they're managed by a substandard.
Trent's the one you want to use.
And
Trent's the one you want to use in that comparison.
But Trent, look, by the way, Trent gets treated the same way as Jadon Sancho, but even worse. He got into that England squad because of the uproar. Like, I'm telling you now, Southgate bottled it and was like, I can't not bring you.
We would have had the right back who's got like 10 assists.
You know what I mean? It's a bit like England. Did you realise that England's gonna go into lockdown now every time it starts trending because the government's going to be pressured? It's like there's an outbreak of hay fever, lock it down. It's just lockdown for everything, bro. And it's the same with all what's going on now. But we're never going to get England to play the football we want until we have a manager with the capability of doing it. Will Southgate get employed by any top team in Europe? No. Like, he shouldn't be managing England then. Not with the, what's the, say? Not with the amount of money. Not well, maybe Tottenham that could happen. But with the amount of money we pay our managers, we can attract the best managers in the world. Go. Like, I still think Wenger could do a job at international level.
No,
yes. KJ, why are you? That's not even a debate.
I'm not saying it. I'm not. Wenger's been out the game for a long time.
No,
let him rest. That's basically like saying people saying get Fergie back at United. No,
who would you bring? Who would you bring? Who would you bring? Who would you bring in?
Conte's available. Do I like his style of play? Probably
no,
not.
You don't bring in Conte to manage England.
Yeah, but you're telling me who's a good enough manager to manage England's got trophies? Who's available? He's a guy. You telling me?
Look, KJ, there's only one guy I want. There's only one guy I want. It's Mancini. You break the bank.
Yeah, but now listen, Mancini is not abandoning his national team.
Money speaks. Listen, I love this badge, right? If I got a phone call now from a brand that says, can you wear a Scotland or a French one for the rest of the tournament? And they said, we're paying you X. Bruv, I'll be the same pet. I'm off. I'm German now, bruv. You know what I mean? Straight up, I'll be getting that dictionary. Right, how do I sound German? Do you know what I mean? I've
got it. When he flops, because he will, since England are bottle jobs anyway, yo, bring Poch, baby. Just like, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't have kept it.
I'm not against
KJ, the thing is, your manager has to be ready for international football. International football is a completely different kettle of fish to the club because you're not with the squad every day. That's one of the toughest things for managers to get past.
You know how sick Jose would be in international football because
that's who I want now. That's what I want now. We could have had him in 2006, but he didn't want the job because he couldn't handle not being with the squad every day.
I get that, but the reason maybe I still think there's an element of toxicity there that worries me when the pressure's on. But with Arsene Wenger, listen, Arsene Wenger's issue, like, I think all of us have got Arsene Wenger wrong. Was he really coming to the end of his career? Or was he just at the start of the Arsenal downfall that we're now all seeing and witnessing? And I think that he was just basically, he kept a sinking ship afloat. There's no way Wenger got put through what Fergie got put through his last 4 or 5 years with the no valuation in the market. Of course, Wenger wanted to buy the best players in the world that were available to bring into his squad. There's no way that you want to see Thierry Henry leave and Nicholas Bentner come in. But you can't say that publicly because what's it going to achieve? What's it going to achieve? Listen, Wenger should be looked at as an example. Listen, and you mentioned Fergie. If Fergie hadn't have had the brain hemorrhage a few years ago, I'd be screaming for him. Even though he's Scottish, I'd be like, listen, we need a world-class manager, and it doesn't matter how good our players are. And I made the point earlier, a lot of people go, but you defend Ollie. I don't, because I don't think he's going to win us anything either. I just think there's a difference here with a club being rebuilt. You can't rebuild England in the same way. We've got an FA that's pretty good. We've got loads of money. We've got the talent that's not like the talent isn't built by the FA. The talent is built by the football clubs. You just go and pick the best that's available. Like, you can't. Do you know what I mean? There's this talent or there is no talent. It is what it is. You bring a manager in like Wenger. Imagine Wenger. There's actually a super chat here that says it. Imagine Wenger with technical players like Grealish and Sancho and Mount.
It'd be crazy.
Listen, why aren't people listening to what I'm saying? When did I ever say he would be crap? I've never said he would be crap. I'm just saying he's been out of the game for a long time. He's now 71. Does he want to come back into international football and football like that? No, he's in a cushy position in the UEFA.
Unless you ask, you don't know. For me, I think there could be a part of him. Managers are notoriously arrogant people. You have to be to do a job like that. I think, imagine he comes back and wins a World Cup with England. Imagine the message that sends out to football. Imagine the message that sends, like, why not offer him? Listen, and also £15 million a year, £20 million a year. Man's
in the words of Samuel,
I'm taking that, you know.
Sorry, one at a time, please. Sorry.
I said, someone said Emma Hayes in the comments. You know, I'm taking it, but yo, bring her in.
Emma Hayes, she's better than Southgate.
She's better than Southgate, but that's a lot. You talk about media pressure. That's a lot of media.
Media pressure. All my Wenger ain't gonna have media pressure. Like, respect.
It's different,
but
KJ.
it's like, bro. Our country boos people kneeling for 5 seconds before a game. Okay. These men are.
If it's a woman,
exactly. Like we can't
say it, but oh my! Do you know what happened? You'd lose, and do you know what you'd get? You'd get weird conspiracy. It'd be like, we're only losing. She's not allowed in the dressing room before games.
Weird skit,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and all that. You would met some men. When I say some men, very weak, vulnerable rice pudding men, like soft-centered. You know, the weak ones, but the ones who look tough on the outside. Like they look like bulldogs at the front, but on the inside, they're all gooey and sticky and soft and weak, but they're just hard on the outside. Look like Phil Mitchell, a lot of them. Yeah, they wouldn't like it. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't, what's this, woman? A male, a woman, boss? They wouldn't like it at all, mate. I can just imagine the gammons now, bruv. I can imagine it. I can imagine it. Literally, in a few months, be part of the EDL manifesto. No more women managers, as well as everything else that be inscribed in stone in EDL Central, wherever the fuck that is. I don't know. Listen, everyone who is tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Well done again to Scotland tonight. You do deserve it. You do deserve the praise because you were excellent. There's no doubt about it. So congrats to you. At least they didn't nick the goalpost and break the goalpost tonight and nick the seats because they did that the last time. Well, they didn't beat us tonight, but that was an amazing night. Oh, we had another super chat here. It says, please look at the patterns of play with Fabregas. Diaby said it should have been such a good player, shouldn't he? Nadri RVP from 07 to 2011. It was the outright best football played in the league on a shoestring budget compared to a Ronaldo and Rooney United.
Imagine Harry Kane in a Wenger system. He would thrive. Everything would go to him from nice build-up play from the attacking talent we've got. But we've got this good attacking talent, and we're deciding we want to play Tyrone Mings and 2 DMs. I cannot wrap my head around it.
Wenger would have the brain.
Why are you doing this to yourselves? Because we know it ain't gonna be happening, bro.
I know, but he would have the brain. He would have the brain to be like Grealish, Sancho, Foden, Mount, and Rice. That's what it would be. And it'd be so good.
Do you know what you're doing? But do you know what you're doing, though, boys? You're spending your lottery winnings without buying a lottery ticket. Like it ain't happening at all. It's like point blank. But yeah,
that's what I was just gonna say. The last 30 minutes of this conversation have just been a great dream. But we're waking up now. I'm
the one who's saying it from the first. All right, cool. I'll see you guys.
Let us scream. Come on.
You know, when the final whistle went, I nearly threw this shirt off with frustration. Right? And then I was like, no, my kids got it for me for Father's Day as a present. I'm like, I can't disrespect them because Frank had to come up to going, do you like your shirt, Daddy? I was like, yeah. Right now, I hate this shirt. It's burning my skin. I'm going to take it off. I don't know what I'm going to put on. I might start wearing other countries' kits. I might just turn my back on England.
My second country's playing tomorrow. We're gonna shut the goat up.
David's even away.
You don't get second country. Do you know what? You can be dual nationality, but you got one football team now, Manny Messi, and you do what you want, bruv. Well, another super chat here says Graham Potter's XG master would do a better job than Southgate. We have another super chat that's just come in here. I don't want to miss any of these. Chuck says Southgate is showing Mourinho traits. His preference is not losing over winning is one thing. He's handling of Shaw, Chilwell, Trippier, and his comments were prime Mourinho terrible. I haven't seen his comments to be fair.
Comments are ridiculous. I haven't seen the ones after this game, but when he said, "I've got 4 right backs who can play different positions," like Trent can play centre midfield, even though he hasn't played there since under 19 football. I just cannot understand how he thinks at times. And like this is such a good England squad. This is the best England squad we've had since 08, arguably. 06, 08. Best England squad. And we've got a manager whose CV is relegated with Middlesbrough and a coach for the under-18s. when we should be having a manager who is a winner, a cold-blooded winner.
Just changing the subject very, very quickly. I didn't really realize it when I was live on the air earlier because I'm concentrating on so many things, but it looks like the Football Terrorist broke the news that in the coming days, Arsenal will be signing Lokonga. I didn't realize when we went live that Christophe Toure was this is how mad news is. How it starts in one place, and by the time you read it, it's been put through so many filters that you don't really realize who the original source is. So I asked him about I said to him, like, with the Lokonga deal, obviously you've heard it broke earlier on in the week. There's rumors it could be completed by the end of this week, early part of next week. Can you give us some insight? And he just went, I broke the news. And I was like, oh shit, like, I didn't realize it. He was the guy. And it spoke afterwards and he was like, yeah, like no one does, because by the time it got into the British press, it had gone through something like 17 different publications before it came out, but he was the guy. So he basically gave an explanation on it, but I didn't realize at the time that he hadn't given anyone else an explanation, and it's gone mad. So it's nice getting a little bit of a scoop. I just hope it happens now. Otherwise, well, people will attack me. Not that it's my fault. I didn't say it, but there we go. Because my inbox is going mental. I've had about 30 Arsenal fans messaging me, and what else do you know? I'm like, would you not watch the video? I didn't say anything. I asked the question, but I'm an aggregator is all I'm going to say. So thanks to everyone who subscribed today, everyone who's tuned in. It's amazing. Well done again to Scotland. Southgate, honestly, bruv, just, you might be nice and polite and all that sort of, put your waistcoat back on. Go get a waistcoat. Let's buy him a waistcoat. It might help. I don't know. And Sean, spill the beans. No beans, bruv. No beans at all. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again